Suniel Shetty is Bollywood's original muscle man and action hero. Somewhere down the line, he took a break for 4 years, a long sabbatical. But he's just come out of that to make his first film down south. It's called Pehlwaan and it's in Kannada. I'm going to be talking to Sunil or Anna about his role as a wrestling and boxing coach in this movie. This is Mark Manuel for peepingmoon.com. Anna, you're back after 4 years. Why did you take this sabbatical in the first place?
I think it wasn't a planned sabbatical. Somewhere down the line, I think it began with not very good work coming because of the kind of mistakes that I've made in my life. And back to the right directors, I believe, but probably not the right producers, because somewhere down the line, they failed to market the films right. And as we all know, last 5-10 years has been all about marketing, and the P&A matters a hell of a lot. Who distributes a film matters a lot. It's not necessarily that always good content has worked. So I think it started with that, and then Dad fell unwell, and somewhere down the line I lost interest in anything else other than spending time with him, because I got this feeling that he constantly wanted me around him. He was paralyzed, so he could express himself, speak bits and pieces, but otherwise couldn't communicate. So I think that got me irritated. If I wanted to go back home at 6, my schedule was 9 to 6. Tendency is to, sir, 2 ghante extend, 2 ghante. That's part of it irritated me, and I realized that I was not being a good human being. And producers want that kind of time, It's not that they do anything intentionally. So somewhere down the line there was this disconnect, and because I was getting irritable, I said, leave it here. Unplanned, but it so happened that till the morning of his death, he died at night. In the morning of the death, did I realize, Christ, I haven't worked at all there. What do I want to do? He's no more, and I think that's it. So uncalled for, but finally a decision that I took.
Does it feel good to get back, to see that the audience still loves you? And I mean, you're coming back at a time when your son and daughter are entering the industry and finding their own feet.
Absolutely. I think I would say more than anything else, I would say blessed more than back. I don't know whether I'm back. I don't know whether I'm going to be accepted the way I was at one time. But one thing I know for a fact, that the media has kept me alive. When you disappear for 4 years, people are out of the complete system. People forget you. But here, some way or the other, the media has kept me alive. Media believes that I still have stuff in him. So, it has worked in my advantage. And then being into that fitness space, I never let that go. And what I realized with that was, though the youth do not know too much of me from the cinema that I've done now in the last few years, they've stayed connected with me because of my fitness. And if I see a bunch of 6-8 kids in a car who are between probably 16 and 25 and 30, I would see the entire lot turning and doing, sir, respect. Which means for some reason they believe in you, and they believe that, oh shit, yeah, dad at home and look at dad here. So, that connect is there, and I think that is what I'm believing in, and believing that I need to continue to do good work.
Anna, you're playing Kiccha's coach in Pehlwaan. Now, he is a boxer as well as a wrestler. So what coach are you there? What did you train him in?
I think I coach him in the art that I was an expert in the film, and that is wrestling. But because of personal reasons and us going astray, is when I ask him not to use the weapon that I've helped him or learn rather, and that's the turmoil. So as important as wrestling and boxing is in the film, it's the relationship between the so-called mentor, Guru Shishya, and the romance that is there in his life that somewhere down the line creates the turmoil.
Now, you've been an action hero all your working life. Is there any action for you in this film? Like, the coach's glory days or something like that?
Yes, there is. There is training, and more than anything else, a situation where I need to come in and I need to show my strength, my power, my wrestle, and very, very excited about that, because even when I saw it, I was like, whoa, Suniel Shetty, you haven't forgotten that body language, and you know how to act. Because one of my first few problems were, will I remember to act? Will I remember my lines? It's not Hindi. What's going to happen? So I overcame all that, and then when I saw myself on celluloid, I felt no, every age has its own beauty, and if they say that if you mature right in Hollywood, you grow then. Somewhere down the line, I see that maturity in me, wo tharav, understanding of the medium, the confidence. I think it's only grown, and I've only learned.
I understand you did karate in the 1980s. Remember? So
Absolutely.
What's your understanding of wrestling and boxing?
I
Mixed
think
martial arts.
I think I did mixed martial arts after that. I started with the Okinawa Gojuri form of karate, and then I moved on to kickboxing. I did every other sport that there is. Martial arts is what got me into this industry, and I feel somewhere with Pehlwaan, it is that body language which will help me stay in this industry and get me the kind of work I am also looking for and looking forward to.
Anna, you're a South Indian. Why did it take you so long to go south? I remember way back in '96, both of us were in Bangalore for Miss World, and you had a huge fan base there. When you entered the stadium as a judge, people started shouting, Anna, Anna, Suniel, Suniel. So what took you so long?
I guess because I was very, very busy with Hindi, and didn't want to get into a space where I wasn't comfortable with the language or otherwise. I think circumstances and everything today, like they say, the world is flat. Today there's no difference between regional and Hindi. Probably regional films are doing as well as Hindi and accepted also as beautifully. Earlier regional language was never accepted by the north of India. Today I think they consume it more thanks to digital, thanks to the mobile phone. They consume it more thanks to satellite, more than they probably consume Hindi because of the emotion attached to it. So I think the timing was right, and it had to be so. I needed a new lease of life, and it came in this form. So it was like my practice ground where I'm practicing and understanding what the audience expects from me, and the success of a film there or here today is the success for an individual. So that's how I look at it, and I'm glad I got this opportunity where I got to learn so much more.
Your character Sircar, is it inspired by any quotes from any movie? Like Rocky had Mickey. Because there's a lot of wisdom, there's a lot of philosophy.
I think that's
Kiccha.
Absolutely. I think that's what happens always. So probably Rocky is the right character that I would go by. The never say never die approach. But the only thing is, the difference is that this man sees this boy when he's barely 7 and 8 years old. He sees him fighting for his right, not his right, for somebody else, fighting for basic food. And he sees that fire in this boy, and he believes that this is the boy who can fulfill that dream of winning that medal for India that I always wanted to do, but I couldn't do. So he picks him up as a shishya, as a chela, and then probably ends up in a relationship that only a father and son share. And that is the beauty of this. So it's a very emotional film also. It's a very personal relationship film.
Why do you think Krishna and Kiccha wanted you for this particular role?
I guess because they saw the South factor, they saw the USP of me not having worked there before. Thanks to the Celebrity Cricket League, Kiccha and me had already developed a fantastic relationship. Kannada cinema was growing. They wanted to go beyond. And somewhere down the line felt with a Hindi face, it will help go that distance, though Kiccha has a following in Hindi with the kind of work that he's done. And fortunately he did this and immediately got Dabang 3-2. So when things start working, they absolutely start working. And so I think, like I said, this film has basically been right timing.
How much have Bruce Lee and Sylvester Stallone influenced?
Oh, my life was Bruce Lee. I still remember when we left the Miramar flat when I was staying in Nepean Road and moved to Altamount Road. They removed everything, and I had this one Bruce Lee life-size poster that was standing, and that was there for years. Bruce Lee inspired me to get into martial arts, train with Pervez Mistry, Sensei Pervez Mistry, probably one of the first 7, 8, 10 students of his. first person exposed to martial arts. So when that poster came out of home, the wall color was the color that we had when I was a teenager, and I left when I was what, 21, 22. So for 8-10 years, everything around it had been painted except that Bruce Lee. So that's how close it was. And then of course Stallone, your hero, when it came to whether the grunt or the hoo and the ha's in the films, was probably borrowed from him. The finesse, I think, owe everything to them. Another person that I owe a lot of my fighting skills is to Chuck Norris, because Chuck Norris was, according to me, one of the best fighters that I have ever seen for camera also. Because he used to look like this, kick reverse. So there's something new, dynamic about him. And I remember I was offered a film with Mr. Chuck Norris, and unfortunately it didn't happen. So I had an opportunity to talk to him, and he had seen my work. And he said, Suniel, the body of work of yours is 10 times the body of work that is mine. Yeah, because I've done probably X amount of films, and you've done 100 films. So I said, that doesn't matter. What else do you think? He says, you know what, I need to tell you, you remind me of me in my younger days. And I told him that I remind you of your fighting style because you are the only one I absolutely copied. I aped his style, I stole shots from him, and designed my action around him. So these are the few people who've influenced me very, very heavily when it comes to action. And of course, our very own king of action was Amit Ji, or Vinod Khanna, whom you wanted his walk. You needed Amit Ji's punch, deliver and look into camera, where the intensity came out. So I think a blend of all these legends who've taught me so much in my life.
How similar or how different is Pehlwaan from, let's say, Dangal and Sultan?
I think very different. This is personal. This has got romance in it. This has got wrestling and it's got boxing. It's got the journey of an orphan. It's got that relationship. So it's got a lot, and it's got a lot for the masses also. That repeat value for the masses of that never say die attitude, and that everything is in the mind, and if we set upon achieving something, there is nothing that we cannot achieve, is what this film is about. So it's for the go-getters also.
You're called Anna by everybody, which is a sort of universal elder brother. What do the seniors in the industry call you? Like, for instance, you're working with the great Rajni right now. So what does he call you? Does he also call you Anna?
Rajni sir hasn't, sir, he says, because I keep saying sir. I don't think I've seen a more humble man. But even Amit Ji says Anna. So I think this came about thanks to Sanjay Dutt and Amit Ji on the sets of Kaate when it Anna happened. And so, when God calls you Anna, I think down the line everybody believes. And finally for me, it's love. It's brotherly love, it's respect. And of course people in the South do call the seniors Anna. But here tells you that there is a lot of love for you.
Anna, thank you very, very much for this interview. It was great fun. Good luck with Pehlwaan.
Yeah guys, this is Suniel Shetty on Peeping Moon.